The Alpha Sessions.
Hello and welcome to Alpha Sessions. I am Macie and I'm joined by the amazing Towse. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So introduce yourself to everyone. How would you describe your music?
So I'm Grace. My project is called Towse. It's a name that kind of encompasses me and anyone that I'm working with. The music itself is like folk pop kind of thing, indie pop. A lot of people say we sound like Regina Spektor. That's like the most common reference that we get.
And you're initially from the States, so what prompted your move to London?
Yeah, I'm from California. So I came to London in 2021 to do the BIM Masters, which was great. Taught me what I was hoping that it would. And I wasn't sure if I'd stay around or not, if I'd just come back to America after the year course, but I like London too much to leave, so.
How was the course for you? Like, what were you studying? What did it entail?
Oh, I thought it was great, yeah. So my undergrad that I did at CalArts, which was also really good, it was more kind of artistic, experimental, finding your voice and that sort of thing. So I really enjoyed the BIM course because it gave more insight on the industry and like the business side of music. And I feel like I just have a more kind of analytic view on the way I make music now, sort of more pragmatic and practical. So it's nice to have the mix of like the artistic viewpoint and then the practical viewpoint.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Like,
exactly.
Once you know one, it helps you understand the other better.
Yeah.
Perfect. And from December to February, you went on your seasonal depressions tour in the States.
Yes.
How was this? What was your favourite part? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so this was our fourth tour. My partner, Corwin, who's the violinist in this project, has been booking us these tours completely independently, which boggles my mind. But it's great. And so it's a bit of like just working for money and a bit of kind of more fun, more like audience participation sort of gigs. So that's how it is. But we played 27 shows on this tour from the first dates in Chicago before Christmas and then up until the last one, which was actually in my hometown, which was kind of special night in mid-February. And then I came back here. So yeah, I think the highlights were, well, that home show was pretty special. There was a lot of people, family, friends, my mom's friends, stuff like that. Got to catch up with people that I used to spend a lot of time with when I lived in California. And it's always just nice to kind of get to show them what I'm doing these days and how they can hear me where I'm at now. And the Chicago shows were also really cool because, especially the first night, the Friday, we were sharing a bill with Corwin's best friend from Berklee College of Music, and they just did a great job bringing an awesome audience. We just felt really lucky to be able to slot into their scene, and everyone was so nice and welcoming there. So, yeah.
And with your home show, were you more nervous for that one, would you say?
In a way, yeah, because it's like you want to, people whose opinion I really care about, right?
Yeah, I always find, even like public speaking in front of people you know, it's so much more difficult because you know them. Like if it's strangers, easy for me, but not elsewhere. Like, do you find the same?
In a way, it's also nice though, because like a lot of my songs are storytelling and like personal to my life. So like people kind of know the background of it, and I just feel like there's just already a predisposition of supportiveness in that community, rather than say if I'm playing in like a random bar or pub, people aren't necessarily ready to be on your side, if that makes sense. So
no, it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. You've also toured in Germany and done festivals and gigs. How does performing live differ from recording your songs?
I love performing live. I always say it's like my favorite sector of the music industry is the live side. So I feel like there's, in a way, people might say there's more pressure because you have like one chance at it, right? But to me, it all feels like there's less pressure because it's not, most of the time it's kind of not being immortalized. Like that's just one day and there's another show and there's another show. So I feel like I'm just freed up to connect with the people that are in the room and focus on my stories and my feelings rather than like playing well or perfectly or like delivering the exact vibe. I don't know.
Do you find this
how I
more
feel.
personal because you can see who you're singing to?
I think so for me. I know, like, there are people who feel that recording is, this great artistic endeavor. I do feel that way, but performing is just much more that way for me. Yeah.
Completely. Which one do you prefer? Okay, so you've done festivals, gigs, and touring concerts, right? Which is your favourite and why?
Festivals a lot is always fun. There's just always, like, loads of people that may not know you at all, but they're there to have a good time and they're there to enjoy music. And that's kind of the best combination of, like, you can kind of make new fans, meet new people, and they're already just in the right headspace to take in art, So I love festivals.
Which festival was your favourite one to gig at or perform at even?
Well, we played Shebang in Washington last summer, which was really fun. And it was crazy because we were playing on the stage called the beach stage there. So there's a swimming hole in front of the stage and everyone was naked watching. So there was like 200 people just like swimming in this swimming hole. Not all naked, but many are naked. And we were just playing our set in front of that. So that was crazy.
That sounds so crazy.
But also, like, it was fun because everyone was just kind of chilled out and, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
well, it was great.
Well, speaking of crazy, your unreleased song, Crazy Friend, is so good. What's the song about?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's a bit of a sad, like, as you might guess, story behind it. One of my friends had a really severe mental health crisis. Think the worst thing you can imagine. You're probably in the right space. Like, it was really bad. And I kind of wrote that song to process that experience because I was so worried about him. And then a lot of my other friends, somehow around the same time, were having quite bad times as well. Not as bad as that, but they were, super broke or like having a breakup or just difficult, sort of regular daily difficulties. And I was just like, man, what is in the air? Like, what is going on right now? And I'm not, a really like spiritual, like woo-woo kind of person. But at the same time, I was like, there has to be something like in the stars making, you know what I mean? I was like, this is just worse than any random week in the year, right? So I wrote that song kind of just like, what is in the air,
She said Mercury's in retrograde again. I don't think that explains what's been happening. I don't know if I can watch another friend break down sobbing 'cause the world's got to them. When you can't afford to take the train to work, when you're set it for a decade and you still don't feel heard, when you're surrounded by success and you're failing, when your heart flies away on an airplane. Why do we live in this world that makes us feel lazy for wanting our lives to be whole? Why do we live in this world that makes good people crazy? Maybe we shouldn't ask so much from the world. They said all our friends are clinically insane, and we'd probably get lobotomies in a past age. When you spend the week conversing with baby brain, when you go to therapy and you still don't see change, when you can't tell which direction is forward, when just taking a shower's a horror. Why do we live in this world that makes us feel lazy for wanting our lives to be whole? Why do we live in this world that makes good people crazy? Maybe we shouldn't ask so much from the world. You can have a bad therapist or
The Alpha Sessions.
You've also made music videos in the past. I know for one of your songs you have. Will you make one for Crazy Friend or another one of your songs? Will you make more in the future?
I love making music videos. Yeah, I have one for We'd Start a Garden that came out last May, and it was great to work on that. The videographer that I worked on that video with is awesome, and I actually, for the Feels Good, which is coming out soon, I've done the photos for that and some like content as well around it, but not a full music video. It's a really fun creative project to make a music video. It's not necessarily the best use of money and time in a release these days. Like,
but it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So people, I think, don't watch them as much as maybe they used to, unfortunately. So I think it's something that I'll definitely do again, but I can't do it on every song.
Completely.
So we'll see.
What's the process like to film a music video?
It's, well, it depends on your team and stuff. For me, I'm an independent artist. I don't have a team beyond Corwin who books for us. So it's all kind of thinking up the ideas myself and storyboarding it and like making a Pinterest for the visuals and, doing the costuming, and like there's a lot of planning that goes into it. For We'd Start a Garden, we had to do like obviously also location scouting and stuff like that. So that was a lot of work. And then Sean, who filmed it, edited as well. So yeah, I like working with him because he is really able to kind of take on board ideas and execute somebody else's vision, but at the same time, he's very creative and spontaneous. So we'll end up doing things that neither of us had really imagined before the shoot. We kind of just show up together in a place and like, oh, that looks cool. Like, that should be behind you. And like, oh, there's birds flying by. Let's get here right now while they're here, just like that sort of spontaneous thing. And I think that collaboration, like really good collaboration, comes from that kind of, openness to other people's ideas. And yeah, also I think you kind of have to have a little bit of freshness in your energy to make great stuff sometimes. It can't be too set on
Definitely
one clear
I feel
vision,
like if you're always set on one thing, you limit yourself. You've got to have that open mind to put that there or do this that time. Like, and I think it works better that way. That sounds really good. Your music, from your Instagram, you said that it tells real life stories. How does this help with your songwriting process?
Well, yeah, I mean, my songs are all my life. They're all real stories. Obviously, there might be the smallest detail of, imagination, fantasy in there, but really rarely. I'm pretty literal. So I started writing songs really kind of as a journaling thing. I didn't start performing them for a couple years after I started writing because it was really just for myself and for a creative outlet. But the thing that sparked it is my dad died of cancer when I was 9 years old. And sort of when I was 11 or so, I just had like a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings that I didn't really know how to place. And that's when I started songwriting. So to this day, just whenever I have a big feeling, I basically write a song about it. And whether it's good or bad or happy or sad, doesn't matter. It's like, that's just where I put my life, put my stories.
Another unreleased song of yours, Stay on the Road, that was also brilliant. You sang that for us too. What inspired you to write this song?
So I wrote that actually quite recently, about a month ago. And that was during this tour, the Seasonal Depression tour.
Oh, like you wrote it during the tour?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I was really inspired by Noah Kahan, the like indie folk artist now. And that style, because when I was just starting out with performing and stuff, when I was like 15, 16 years old, the Lumineers were really popular. And that has like a similar vibe to it, to what Noah Kahan's making now. So I was just kind of excited about the fact that like my favorite teenage music is like
It's coming back
having a
in,
resurgence.
No,
and
it
I was
can't
like,
really good.
yeah. So I was just like, I'm gonna write like a cool, like folky song, and then I was like, road tripping is such a great topic for kind of that genre and that vibe. And then I was like, perfect. I'll talk about, you know, how it feels to be on tour with my partner, and like, so there's a bit of struggle in there, obviously, you know, working with someone that you're also dating. That is a difficult thing sometimes, but then there's like so much closeness and like also communication. So I just thought I'd explore that kind of topic in the song.
I don't know a lot of other couples who would choose to live together in a car. I mean, who needs time apart? Entwine themselves financially and try to make art. I'm not surprised that it's hard, but hey, we got this far. I got one hand on the wheel and one hand in your hair. We've been driving every day, but I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I promise you I'll stick around. I'll shift the stick, we'll sing out loud and stay on the road. We'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay. I know I might not seem that excited when you try to answer work calls on a date. I mean, surely it can wait. The truth is I was looking for someone to pull their weight. A creative first rate, but I found my soulmate. I got one hand on the wheel and one hand in your hair. We've been driving every day, but I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I promise you I'll stick around. I'll shift the stick, we'll sing out loud and stay on the road. We'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay. Next time I'm taking us home right through the night. I'll take a step back and look at the whole picture. Next time I'm taking us home right through the night. I'll take a step back and look at the whole picture. Look at the whole picture. Look at the whole picture. We chose a life of midnight drives. We chose a life of sleepless nights. We chose a life of endless goodbyes and highest times. I got one hand on the wheel and one hand in your hair. We've been driving every day, but I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I promise you I'll stick around. I'll shift the stick, we'll sing out loud and stay on the road. We'll stay. I got one hand on the wheel and one hand in your hair. We've been driving every day, but I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I promise you I'll stick around. I'll shift the stick, we'll sing out loud and stay on the road. We'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay, we'll stay.
The Alpha Sessions.
You play so many instruments and post videos on YouTube. What made you start posting videos that you post, like guitar tutorials, am I right? Yeah. So what made you decide to branch out to that side of YouTube?
So I had a friend, I still have her as a friend, whose name is Abby Lyons. She's a very successful YouTuber, content creator. And I went to my undergrad with her, so I've known her since 2014, 15, sort of, I don't remember. And we were roommates in LA when I lived there. She was starting her kind of YouTube channel and journey at that time that we lived together, and I was watching her do that. And something that worked really well for her was making tutorials, because with YouTube, it's very search engine oriented, right? You have to do the SEO optimization for people to see your content. If you just post like an original song, it's really unlikely that anyone will see it, especially if you're a smaller channel and you haven't had, sort of that algorithmic support yet, right? So something that you can do that, because people will be searching for it, is tutorials. People will always be searching for how to play this song on guitar or on ukulele. And so it's just a way to like reach listeners. I also love analyzing songs, learning new songs. So I kind of put it together like, okay, I'm learning all these covers just because I want to. May as well make a video explaining what I did, especially for example, one that's quite popular on my channel, Felt Your Shape by the Microphones. Because I remember when I tried to learn it, there was no tutorial for it. And I was annoyed as like someone trying to learn the cover. I was like, hey. So when I finally figured out like from this one tab that was like the only correct chord chart on the internet, how to actually play it, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a video to help other people. And that's now got, I can't remember, like 20,000 views or something.
That's really good.
On my channel. So
that's really cool.
It's just, and then I kind of, because that was going all right and I saw how it was working for Abby and it was getting people interested in her original music as well, I just kept with it. And I was like, I'm just going to do this as a sort of discipline. And I spent 2 years posting every week on there from 2019 to 2021. I did every single week pretty much. But I just found that I was spending so much time on YouTube, and it was making it difficult for me to spend as much time on kind of my songwriting and recording process as I'd like. So I stopped doing weekly videos around when I was finishing the BIM degree. Yeah.
Aside from the guitar tutorials, you also posted in January like a song a day of your own originals. Which of your original songs is your favorite?
From Song a Day?
Yeah, from Song a Day.
Out of that 2021 Song a Day, because I've done this Song a Day practice quite a few times. It's always my advice to songwriters if they are like, oh, I have a writer's block, how do I get past it? I always say, do Song a Day for a month, because you're not going to have the writer's block anymore if you write. But with that month, 2 songs kind of stand out to me. One was We'd Start a Garden that I've released, and that was from the Song a Day 2021. And the other one is called What You Took With You, which is kind of a sad ballad about it. I wrote it on my dad's birthday, which is January 20th. So with kind of remembering his death and then dealing with my grief in retrospectives like 15 years after at the time, but still it sticks with you, right? And I'm always kind of having a new emotional upheaval at that time of year. So kind of wrote about that, like how I always come back to that same feeling each year. And yeah, I think that song, I don't know, but I hope it will come out someday, because I think it has a special place.
It does. I want to hear this song as well, and I'm sure everyone else wants to hear it too. So hopefully it will come out and we'll see it on your socials. And where do you see yourself in the music industry in 10 years' time?
Ooh.
I know, we're looking far into the future now.
I mean, obviously, in a dream scenario, I'd be touring. I'd be playing big rooms, I'd have a band to tour with. I'd probably have label support, have released a significant body of work by that time. But that's kind of the dream. It's like, it's cool because I feel like I'm just living a small version of that now. And it's like, yeah, just that, but bigger, right? Basically. Yeah,
completely. And what do you think you'll do to get yourself to that position? Like in a dream scenario?
Yeah, I think, I feel like, I hope and I think I'm kind of going in the right direction. And it feels like from the last 3 or 4 years, things have really moved towards my goals. So I think, okay, I must be on the right track, right? It's just what I'm doing is just, posting on social media, trying to network, set up as many kind of contacts and collaborations and things as possible, continue to really work on my craft. Like I spent 10 or 11 hours yesterday working on editing songs and recording demos and stuff like that. And similarly the day before, just keep at it, put the time in.
Consistency.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Do you edit all their own projects, or does someone help you with the editing?
So Corwin, again, my partner, they did the Berklee College of Music songwriting degree, so they have like the most intense analytical songwriting brain of anyone that I've ever met. And it's funny because they rarely write songs anymore. It's like 1 or 2 a year. But for editing, it's like that's the person you should go to, you know.
They help you out then completely then.
Yeah, so with these songs, with Feels Good especially that you heard, like that was edited with Corwin. I wrote some verses that are completely gone now, like in the trash. And what is now the verses were like from the feedback that Corwin gave me. And similarly with the bridge of that and also of Crazy Friends, it was, the concept was kind of Corwin's idea of what could come next in the story, because I was struggling with that, and we just talked through it. And then I went away and wrote the bridge myself, but with that kind of idea. So it's been really helpful to have that partnership. And yeah,
I feel like it's always good to get a second opinion as well, because you could look at something and be like, oh, that's great, I love it, and then you realize everyone else does it, or vice versa. You may hate it and everyone else loves it. So it's always great to have a second opinion.
I used to always be like in the camp of doing it myself and having ownership over my work, but I really feel now like collaboration is actually extremely valuable.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And tell everyone what your socials are. How can we find you?
Yeah, so Towse, Towse, is the artist name, and that's how you'll find it pretty much everywhere. The handle on a lot of platforms is Towse like house. And that's it. We got a website. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
Thank you so much for chatting with us. You've been great. Your songs are amazing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Last weekend I quit my dead-end job at the health food store. Now I do what I love for work, but I'm sleeping in the car, wishing on a star that everything in my head will fall out of the sky right into place. And I'll be lying in bed, hearing endless kaleidoscopic phrase, singing, yeah, it feels good, yeah, it feels good to be who I see in my dreams. Yeah, it feels good, yeah, it feels good to bust out in all of my seams. I was too scared 4 years ago to get a job at the health food store, but my songs